the transmigration of the Atman and the transport of karma between Janmas. 3 Shlokas from the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. 1507. Mamevamsho jivaloke jivabhutah sanatanah manashashthānindriyāni prakritisthāni karshati. Souls in living beings are an eternal portion of myself. They are bound by their material nature and draw towards them the 5 senses and the mind. 1508. Shariram yadavapnoti yachapyutkaramatishvarah grihitvaitani samyati vayurgandhani vashayat. When the soul, which is the master, acquires a body, it takes the mind and the 5 senses from the body it has left, just as the wind takes different odors along with it. Shloka 1509. Kshotram chakshuh sparshanam cha rasanam granam evicha adhisthaya manaschayam vishayanupasevati. Making use of the ear, the eye, touch, taste and smell, as well as the mind, the soul in the body enjoys the objects of the senses. It is said that God is within you. He is omnipresent, and that all you need to do to find Him is to look within yourself. Remember that in Shloka 1020, Krishna had declared that the self in all beings is Krishna himself. In Shloka 1507, Krishna says that souls in living beings are an eternal portion of himself. In the Vedic culture, people worship cows, elephants, other beings, and even children. It is not which species a being belongs to or how chronologically old a person is, but it is the same divinity that exists in all beings that is respected. When all souls are an eternal portion of Krishna, why are people and their lives so different from one another? Why are some siblings who have had identical upbringings sometimes so diametrically opposite in nature from one another? Why are some babies born into affluent families and others born into families which suffer from extreme penury? Who is recording the karma of people? Is it Chitragupta? Well, the answers to these questions are rather straight and simple. Imagine you are going for a long walk in the countryside and all of a sudden the air begins to smell of fragrant flowers. You stop and look around to find out where the smell is coming from and walk in that direction. After walking some distance, you find yourself to be before a garden of sweet-smelling beautiful flowers. How did you get the smell of the flowers even before you could know where the garden was? It was the wind that carried along with it the lovely fragrance of the flowers. Krishna explains in one shloka, which is 1508, the process of the transmigration of souls in which karma is literally transported from one janma to another. He uses the wind and the fragrance analogy that anyone can easily comprehend. Bhagavan says that just as the wind carries different odors along with it, the Atman too carries along with it the mind and the 5 senses from the body it has left. That explains why even little babies and children have strong qualities, and sometimes, as it is in the case of child prodigies, they even possess unbelievable talents such as those in music and in drawing. The Atman, or the soul, does nothing. It does not perform karma or action. However, in Shloka 1509, Krishna says that the soul in the body uses the ear, the eye, touch, taste and smell to enjoy objects of the senses. The question that arises is that when the Atman or the soul is an eternal portion of Krishna, how and why does it enjoy sense objects perceived through the five senses? This question can be answered as follows. A. The mind and the senses, which are fundamentally lifeless, are activated by the Atman. B. Once they come alive, they are affected by the abstract phenomenon called the ego. C. The ego comes into being and thrives due to one's gunas that form the mind, which is carried by the Atman from one body to another. The ego causes attachment to the senses, which in turn creates all the wants in a person that turn out to be the root cause of all sufferings and misery. Therefore, making it a practice to carry noble thoughts all the time and realizing that material pleasures are temporary can greatly help souls in their karmic voyage towards supreme consciousness. It usually takes a lot of experience in life to grasp the truth that material pleasures are impermanent and that they can never satisfy the soul, which is eternal. However, people who are blessed with the knowledge of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita easily acquire the realization of this crucial factor in one's karmic voyage. Therefore, the way to attain never-ending bliss is by realizing and experiencing the divinity or Krishna within oneself. If a person could strive to experience the divinity within them with the same amount of passion that they would normally have for material as well as abstract objects of the senses, achieving the highest goal of realizing Krishna and attaining self-realization is most certainly possible. Krishnam Vande Jagadguru.